For me, myself, I think streaming television is one of the most amazing things that's ever happened. One of my friends says, I can't afford getting a Hulu Plus or Netflix, just out of my range, out of my budget. And I just had to stop for a second and look at him as he's sipping from a Guinness, which is like a $9 drink. I'm like, you're drinking 10,000 movies right now. These services are just $8 to $9 a month, and in exchange, you can literally lay in bed and watch movies and television shows for 30 to 31 days a month, all the time. You could, if you didn't want to leave your house. Look, I don't understand how you could sit here and tell me that you can't afford $9 a month for a streaming service while you just ordered a sandwich, which is just only going to be in your stomach for like maybe 4 hours, the nutrients to stay alive for less than a day. Hey, welcome back to another episode of Sweaty Nerds. This week, we're going to talk about Captain America. He's got a legendary run, created in the 40s, came out of suspended animation in the 60s, still rocking it now. We're going to talk about his comic book legends. We're also going to cover Battlestar Galactica, both the box set from the 70s series and the Now series that was just finished, just wrapped up. We love Battlestar Galactica, so come the frack on and watch this show with us. Stop throwing mushrooms at me. We're also going to cover Super Mario Brothers. And last but not least, long live the new flesh, David Cronenberg's Videodrome. All this and more on this week's Sweaty Nerds. Hey, welcome to another Sweaty Special Effects Nerds show. I'm Jon Schnepp. Sitting across from me is Cig, Is He Really Here, Neutron.
Am I?
And what we are going to talk about is Your Screen's Screen. One of my favorite all-time films ever is Videodrome. It's David Cronenberg's masterpiece about living inside a television and what does that do to your mind. Let's talk about what it does to your mind, Cig.
Well, it blows my mind. One of the coolest scenes, there's a lot of effects centered around a TV, and there's a scene where it starts rippling and there's veins and stuff. Yeah. They actually, Rick Baker and his team, they actually teamed up with another guy, and he actually constructed an organ that was hooked up to an air pressure machine. And so to get all those different rippling effects, he was actually playing on all the keys, and it was making all this stuff ripple. Wow, so instead of like 8 sweaty guys with weird prosthetic tubes and pushing, it was one dude with an organ playing all of it. That's pretty amazing. Yeah. Also, I love that with the weird Giger style, like mechanical gun that comes out of the TV, and also comes out of, I guess, James Woods' chest after he inserts a video disc, video cassette into his stomach. How do they do that? Yeah, so it's another like forced perspective trick. Like he's actually sitting further back, and this is the fake chest, so he's like sticking it in there. And when he stands up, actually, you'll note if you play back the, if you watch it and you know this, there's his whole arm right here is actually fake. The arm that's stuck in here, it's actually an arm prosthetic. And Rick Baker said they had a problem with shrinkage, and so if you look, it's actually a lot smaller than his hand. Oh, wow. Next time you watch it, yeah. Let's talk about Convex and the release of the mutagenic, when he explodes at the end after getting shot. Well, how is that done? Well, so that was back in the days, it's like a little bit more lax on set. And so they just like pulled everybody that was around and like, hey, can you stick your arms in here and puppeteer this part? And can you split this? So it was one of those instances where everyone's crammed under the table and working different things. And they're probably not even effects people. They're just people like grips or someone say, hey, can you just work this? So. Yeah, I remember reading about when at the very end when James Woods is in that abandoned, ship and the TV explodes, that they couldn't get the TV to explode right, so that literally it was all the meat that was inside of it was sitting outside for like 4 or 5 days. Yes. So when they exploded it, the entire set smelled of death in the worst way possible. It was one of the most horrific experiences that the crew experienced. And that'll wrap it up for us with talking about Videodrome. If you haven't seen this incredible dreamscape of a film, I would see it immediately. It's got James Woods, Deborah Harry, and some of the most amazing, freakish nightmare sequences you could possibly imagine. Videodrome. I'm Jon Schnepp. Cig, where can people find you online? Instagram and Twitter at Cig Neutron or at bizarrogogo.com. And I'll see you guys next time on Sweaty Special Effects Nerds. Listen, gotta get a VHS tape out of my stomach. Hey, welcome to another episode of Sweaty Video Game Nerds. I'm Jon Schnepp, sitting here with Maude Garrett, and we are going to talk about...
Dun, 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 dun. Mario! Yes, Super Mario came out on the Nintendo Entertainment System way back in the early 90s. Oh no, wow! Do your research, 1985. This game is older than I am.
Bam! And it's a lot of fun. I mean, this is basically what put Nintendo on the map.
Yeah.
Mario, Super Mario, then it became you're in a car, throwing weird mushrooms and flipping people out on these smaller and smaller roads.
I don't know what you do on weekends, but this is a side-scrolling game with Mario and basically had 3 lives.
Oh wait, I was talking about Mario Kart, sorry. I got ahead of myself.
Oh, and we've got Dr. Mario. You are right, though. He absolutely nailed it. And then, obviously, if you were a sibling, you would be Luigi, whether you wanted to be or not. This is Super Mario 64. That was actually the very, very first game that scored a 10 out of 10, a perfect score. I played that one. It is absolutely fantastic. But I'm a Nintendo 64 girl. That's how that one works. My favorite part, though, is the I'm a Mario. I'm gonna win. I can do so many more.
This game is just really a phenomenal, incredible game. When it first came out, it changed the game, the landscape, being able to rotate around in full 3D. This is like your
first 3D platform game.
This is a fully animated character come to life. That's the first time I ever saw it. We were like pretty much side-scrolly or first person, and that's it.
It was all 2D.
Yeah, this was like I'm in control of my entire environment, and I could move around it. And what a weird environment to be in control of, you know?
But the music as well, like everything that Mario encompassed, it was just such an experience to play the game from start to finish. And it was never too hard that you wouldn't finish it. It always kind of dangled the carrot just to go a little bit further. That's what you want. Let's go. It's me. My favorite out of all the Mario games, that's a tough one. I think Mario Kart, if we're allowed to go there. Mario Kart on 64 is probably, well-timed. It is the best multiplayer game on Nintendo 64, just beating out GoldenEye, in my humble opinion.
Yeah, and it's really, truly one of the most interactive games I've ever seen a bunch of my friends play. I've only played on their systems. I don't actually have Mario Kart, but...
The replayability, like you can pick it up and play it now. In fact, I do all the time with my friends.
Yep.
I still got it.
It really is. People's lunch times are consumed by this and eating.
Who do you play? Who do you choose?
Random. I don't even know who they are. I usually play the monkey.
Donkey Kong?
Yeah.
Yeah, I play Peach, because Peach has got it. Here we go. Thank you.
See, there he is.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
See, that's the one that looks like strawberry shortcake.
That's Toad.
Okay.
He's getting his own game soon, too.
What? Well, Toad the Wet Sprocket. Here we go. Hey, Maude, where can we find you online?
If you want to find me on social media, just search Maude Garrett. But if you want to get involved with Geek Bomb, that is my geeky outlet that I talk about all my video games playing. We do have a YouTube page, so have a look at those if you'd like to.
And I'm Jon Schnepp. Sweaty Nerds, video games, check it out. See you later. Mario Kart.
Here we go.
Hey, welcome back to another Sweaty Sci Fi Nerds. I'm Jon Schnepp, sitting here with Chris Gore, founder of Film Thread. You've seen him on G4. Today, it's a special Sweaty box set segment. We're going to be talking about Battlestar Galactica, the 1978 series and the 2004 series. Chris, let's talk about Battlestar.
I love the original Battlestar Galactica. I mean, you know, it's John Dykstra did the special effects in the initial one, which
John Dykstra's from Star Wars, so
from
they got
Star
him.
Wars, and he did the original. I mean, the original was great because there's the movie. I mean, there's
By
the
your
movie.
command.
By your command. The Cylons are just like, it's a very simple story. There's the you know, the good guys, right?
The
bad
tribes
guys,
of the elders.
the tribes, you know, we find out, you know, they're all based on the astrological chart, you know, which is kind of strange. But I love that original Battlestar Galactica. It's really fun. And when I originally saw it in the theater, it was in Sense-Surround. Do you remember that, where they would just basically turn up the bass in a movie theater so the seats would shake? Now they have 4D. They have actually have 4D in theaters. But this box set is amazing. Just like looking back on some of those, because some of those episodes of the original Battlestar series were fantastic.
They're a lot of fun. I mean, I love the original Battlestar Galactica, but when they rebooted it, I really had a hard time. I remember the miniseries came out. I was like, I don't know if I'm going to like it. I didn't start watching Battlestar Galactica until season 3. Until towards the middle of season 3, and then was like, I can't believe how stupid I've been. It's incredible.
It's really good, but I will say it's funny to just have those two. I mean, comparing those two box sets. I mean, they're both great sets, but if you're looking for fun, you definitely want the old school Battlestar Galactica. If you really want to get into serious drama, the new school one is good. But we could sit here all day and talk about that ending. The ending of Battlestar series.
Yes.
I don't know if I'm 100% behind that ending.
Look, you know what?
It's you know.
I can't say that it was the best ending. It wasn't an ending.
The series finale.
Yeah, the series finale. Yeah. But you know, when you look at all the other seasons and where they came and what they did within the whole story, I think it was okay. You know, it's like it wasn't one of the worst. Like Lost, that's one of the worst series endings ever.
Right.
Battlestar Galactica gets a pass. Okay. So for me, I'd say I recommend both box sets. Check them out. Battlestar Galactica 1978, Battlestar Galactica 2004 to 2009. Chris Gore, where can people find you online?
You can find me at chrisgore.com or follow me on Twitter at @thatchrisgore.
And I will see you at the next episode of Sweaty Sci Fi Nerds.
By your command.
Hey, welcome to another episode of Sweaty Comic Book Nerds. I'm Jon Schnepp. Sitting across from me is Comic Book Girl 19.
Hi, guys.
And today we are going to talk about the true American hero, Captain America, and talk about some adventures that you might not know about, some comic books that are available that you should be reading and have that knowledge. Comic Book Girl 19, what's your favorite Captain America comic?
Well, I feel like the Winter Soldier movie just came out, so a really great comic to read if you're interested is Captain America: The Winter Soldier by Brew Baker, and then Steve Epting's doing the artwork for that. And yeah, it's even darker than the movie is, and it goes back to their World War II roots and the fact that Bucky was the wet works guy who was like killing fools because Captain America didn't want to, you know, dirty his hands and all that sort of stuff. So you see all this really cool backstory of Bucky and Captain America and why he turned into the Winter Soldier and how all that sort of stuff happened. So I highly recommend this one. This one's really good. Brew Baker has a great run on Captain America.
Yeah, he's a great writer just in general, but man, did he knock it out of the park. He really brought so much amazing storytelling to Captain America, and all the characters that we've known from the past are amazingly well rendered, and amazingly rendered by Steve Epting, an artist that when he first started out I wasn't the biggest fan of. He was like emulating a lot of different artists. He fell in, like you said earlier, what did he do? He
pivoted.
He totally pivoted. He pivoted at a certain point and came into his own style, which is always great to see when artists, they're always like, you know, hey, I came off this artist, and then they get their own style. And he just killed it. I love his art in all of the Captain Americas that Brew Baker wrote.
Well, that's such a fun part about comics that a lot of people who don't read comics don't realize is seeing an artist get better and have these breakthroughs and have new styles and where they go through the years. That's such a fun aspect of comic books.
It is, and it's like you'll hear people say, oh, that run or this run. What they're talking about is a run of issues that a writer or an artist actually went through. So when we talk about the Brew Baker run, we're talking about this period of time when he was rocking on Captain America, consecutive issues. If you're reading month by month, you're like, I can't wait to get that next issue. And now we all have these amazing issues all collected into trade paperbacks or hardcovers. So it makes it easier for you to actually be able to enjoy the entire story. For me, one of my favorite all-time runs of Captain America is from the guy who created Captain America, Jack Kirby. It was in the late 80s. He did this run, which he came back to Marvel, and he came back on the Captain America tip, doing Captain America and the Falcon, these crazy cosmic stories, introducing Arnim Zola, introducing just insane kind of like that fun, like Captain America's fighting a vampire? What the hell, you know? It's really fun, and it's Kirby at his best. He just has so much fun. His dynamism, his composition, it's everything that you love about Jack Kirby with a character that he created back in the 40s, rocking it 80s style. So if you never got a chance to check out the Jack Kirby 80s version of Captain America, I highly recommend it. It's really fun. It's not in the, it's not in the cinematic Marvel style. It's a lot more loose and fancy free and fun, but really the imagination is set loose.
Another one that's not quite so fun, and this is another Brew Baker one, is The Death of Captain America.
Right.
And I feel like that's another important one to kind of be on the up and up on right now because they've announced that they're doing Civil War in the Captain America movie. And so this one is all about kind of what happens after Civil War and when, spoiler, Captain America is killed, but that happens in like halfway through the first issue. And really it's all about the, what he meant and the ramifications of his death and all these different people dealing with his death and like what he meant to them. It goes into Agent 13, Winter Soldier, Falcon is in this one a lot too. So this one's definitely a really great one to pick up.
Yeah, for sure, just to get your backbone history going. Once again, thanks for tuning in. Comic Book Girl 19, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at CBGirl19, on Instagram at Comic Book Girl 19, and on YouTube under Comic Book Girl 19.
Awesome. Well, I'm Jon Schnepp. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Sweaty Comic Book Nerds.
Woo!
I'll see you next time.
Hey, if you're not getting sweaty, you should be getting sweaty right now by clicking on these links: special effects, video games, sci-fi movies, and the comic books. We're providing you links about everything we just talked about in the episode, plus more. So click on those links, get sweaty, get playing, get watching. Let's get sweaty. Let's get sweaty.